This is Starkie Sowers. Welcome again to another Nutrition Mission podcast brought to you by Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market. Today I've got one of my best buddies and guest, Oscar Shearer, with me. Like a foundational trainer, gym owner here in town at one point, computer genius, all around friend, just good to have hang out. And so, dude, I brought you lunch.
I see that.
Okay, so
And
first of all, I got you some egg bites.
I got that.
Okay, so the egg bites have eggs, obviously. They also have cheese, cottage cheese, and I know you like cottage cheese in them. Some of them have mushrooms, and some of them have some cheese. So tell me what you think of those bad boys.
Well, they smell good.
Smell good. Taste is amazing.
Oh, they're good.
They're really good. So what's nice about them, bro, let's check this out. I'm in a situation where I'm hungry, like I'm dieting, thinking about a contest or whatever the case might be, or just good food. Need some eggs because I need the lecithin, I need the brain food and all that stuff like that. I don't have to make it. I'm at work. Minute 20 seconds, best eggs ever.
And they taste good.
Right? Exactly. So I thought I'd bring some of our favorite foods out. By the way, I brought you a Greek yogurt. Okay? This Greek yogurt is the whole milk Greek yogurt by Strauss.
Yes. Good stuff.
Stuff's amazing, loaded with lots of nutritious fats that are in there. So have a little snack on that one. Right over here. Threw some raspberries on top. Isn't that stuff amazingly creamy? Like so amazing. Yeah, it's so amazing.
Goes good with the berries.
Right? The berries just accentuate it, make it that much better, right? Good moment. And I know you like olive oil like me, so I just thought, you know what? While we're at it, I would grab some of my favorite olive oils and throw them out here and then bring you some paleo bread, which ends up being an almond flour because you're wheat sensitive. So what I want you to do...
And gluten sensitive.
And gluten sensitive. So what I want you to do is grab your bread. I want you to try each one of these. The first one's Napa Valley. The next one's Bragg's. The next one's a Californian one. Okay?
Well, these two, I know those are good sources.
Right.
This one I've never tried.
So that's what I'm going to say. I just want to do a taste profile. See where I'm at. In fact, I'm going to have to use the same bread as you because if you're gluten sensitive, then I got to make sure that I don't dip in there with my sourdough bread and make up a difference. That was an expected flavor, right?
This is a familiar flavor. It's very good.
It's very good though, right? Tastes amazing. So what's cool about these guys, these are California olive oils. And I just think that's kind of fun, right?
Yes.
So out of Napa Valley, flavor is amazing. Obviously, we know the deeper, the darker the flavor, the better, right?
And Napa Valley is pretty well known for quality.
Absolutely. Now I want you to try this, the Bragg stuff. I know you've had this before in the past. In fact, I don't even question that because you've eaten with me enough times, you've had it.
I have.
I want you to see if you notice a different flavor profile.
Is this earlier in the season?
They do one season, and you'll notice it's got a bite.
Mm-hmm. It's a little tangy.
A little tangy, right? Good olive oil, though, right?
Yes. This one tastes a little more like late season than this does.
A little stronger, a little grassier maybe.
Yeah, this has a little fruitier taste, and this has a little tangier.
A little tangier, grassier flavor. All right, so then we'll do the California extra version. And this is an early season that they actually do theirs as well, too. It's actually not a bad choice either way, but you'll notice like a real sharp, almost like bitter aftertaste, right? You're enjoying those eggs, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't eaten since 4 o'clock this morning, right?
I'm hungry.
Been training all day?
Been busy, yes.
All right. So as we're going through this last flavor profile here, by the way, I brought some kombucha to wash it down with. Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really nice, sharp flavor, isn't it?
It's sharp, but it's smooth.
Smooth and sharp. Got the little bite at the end.
Yes.
Super nice stuff.
This one has a little more bite than this one does.
It does. Yeah, the Bragg's has a nice little tight bite to it. I always love the Bragg's. I like the bite, like the flavor. The California one by the California Olive Ranch, a little bit smoother. And then the Napa Valley stuff, just really clean all the way through. This one makes my wife happy.
Mm-hmm.
This one makes my wife not happy. And this one makes actually my wife can endure. She doesn't like the bites. She doesn't like she doesn't like the big strong flavors.
Yeah, this tastes like the fruit is a little more ripe.
Yep. So before we go too far, what I want to do is like just hang. Obviously, we'll eat a little bit as we're going along, and obviously eat at the end. Just want to have your flavor out there and just see how you did. Just kind of get a couple moments and just get you fed as you're coming back from training all day. So I want to talk about clients. I want to talk about clients and different things of that nature. How many clients do you have right now?
Before you do that.
Yeah, you want some kombucha?
No, let me have one napkin.
One napkin? No problem. Got it for you. Not a problem at all.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, great.
I can be sloppy.
Yes, you can, but I can too. So I expected that.
Okay.
So how many clients do you have right now?
I don't really keep track. You're going to make me count.
No, I don't want you to count too hard.
So probably I keep between 15 and 18 clients.
15, 18 clients?
Yeah.
And your ranges are all over the place, aren't they? Do you have, so what would be your ranges? Obviously you do national physique competition, pro caliber, things of that nature.
So one of my clients is a pro bodybuilder.
Right.
That wants to return to the stage. So I'm working with him.
Okay.
He'll be competing in 5 weeks. Another one of my clients, they own a gym over here, and it's a Wisdom gym.
Okay.
And she's going to be competing in bikini competition in 5 weeks also. So they're within a week.
What show is it that they're going to be in?
Tim is going to be in the Florida Pro Show.
Okay, right.
And Jordan will be in I can't remember the name, but it's in Orange County.
Orange County. Okay, that'll come back to you.
It's coming up. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
so then let's go the other end of the spectrum.
Then the other end of the spectrum would be over 65.
Okay.
And we're trying to keep them from falling and not being able to get back up.
Right. So, I mean, those are the great challenges if you think about that. Those are the perfect challenges you want as a trainer. Well, you don't want to just be in one world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you want your mind constantly busy trying to sort out what does this person need to address the issues at hand. And then you're at the other end, and these people are already athletes, and you're going, okay, what does this person need to become a better athlete?
Right. So how do I make this person better? Yeah. And those are the challenges because, all the T's have been crossed, the I's have been dotted, and you're looking for one that you can possibly come up and go, okay, I have something that we haven't tried yet. Yeah, as opposed to, I just need to keep this guy from falling down on the ground so he can get up.
Well, in one case, for example, I have an 83-year-old lady that cracked a vertebrae.
Oh, wow.
And so she became essentially incapacitated.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole focus was to make her functional again.
Right.
So she could get off the floor, she can get out of her couch, and she can essentially have a normal life.
Have a normal life.
Because at that age, you end up in a wheelchair real quick.
Yeah, real fast. Yeah. And then life quality goes down dramatically,
and then,
doesn't
it? Of course, at that point, depression kicks in, and you start feeling like life doesn't have anything for you.
The
anymore.
World gets tighter and smaller and smaller.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, right. So, all right. So, I mean, all sorts of different types of clients.
And then everybody in between is going to be your typical, I want to be in the best shape of my life.
Right.
And
or have an event.
Well, for example, I want to be in the best shape of my life, and I'm busy, so I need someone to manage this for me.
Right.
Or I have an event coming up. I have a wedding coming up, and I need to look my best in this wedding dress.
And I'm willing to do what it takes to get to that point.
And so it's...
But you made a critical point there, which is like this. I need somebody to manage me.
Yes.
And oftentimes that is the case. Somebody needs to make a commitment, and they need to know that I'm paying this person. And so, because, bro, back in the day when personal training first started, I thought this is going to last for a couple years, and it's going to be over. But there's no way it's going to last any longer than a year or two, and then it just did anything but just the opposite. It exploded, and more people are in the gym now than ever before. And personal trainers, in my opinion, are one of the reasons why that happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea is accountability.
Right.
If a person can afford to pay someone just to be accountable.
Right.
They want to make sure that person has the skills to also orchestrate all of their activity in the gym.
Right.
And so we're talking about functional strength. We're talking about flexibility. We're talking about range of motion, mobility, and diet. And
all these things together.
Yes, and that so you get paid to manage all that to get somebody in their best shape.
All right, so let me ask you this question. Obviously, they pay you for it. Obviously, there's times where they quit, they don't pay you, so technically you get fired, right?
Essentially, yes.
All right, so have you ever fired anybody for not doing what they need to do?
To be honest with you, I'm probably one of the few trainers that does that.
So, because, I mean, you get annoyed because, like, I give you the A, I give you the B,
Right.
I'm trying to get to the C, and you're making me look bad because you won't do what you need to do.
I know this doesn't sound right, but I have actually inventoried somebody's balance and said, okay, so we have a 3-month contract. We're 3 weeks into this. I'm giving you all your money back.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that I'm going to get the results that you're asking for, and the last thing I need is somebody unhappy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only unhappy, then bad reputation on top
Yeah,
of
because
it.
it makes it look like you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
So
All right.
you ask somebody, okay, I need you to do a food log for me. I need 3 days in a row. It doesn't have to be real accurate.
Yeah, just write down what the foods you're doing. Just write them down.
Eating and attempt to make the quantity and the time.
Yeah, so I can. Yeah, a handful, 2 handfuls. Just give me some idea.
So after 2 weeks, they're asking you for a diet, and they haven't given you anything.
And so you don't know what to do with them.
Well, you don't know where
You
to
don't know.
start.
Yeah, so like let's say this guy eats like 55 M&Ms at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. You know he's got a blood sugar issue, and so if he doesn't tell you the truth on that, then you can't figure those things out.
Well, one of the things that I like to do is to have 3 days sampling of what the person eats. And
And don't lie to me.
Right. And
Don't change anything just because I'm going to look at it.
I want it to be representative of how you eat on a regular basis.
Right.
Because I want to be able to look at that food list and then look at the person and say, okay, so this produces this, but they're asking for these changes. So now I have an idea what I'm going to change.
Yeah, so I can tweak it so I can get them from here to over there.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly. And so I don't like handing somebody a piece of paper with a diet on it.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe they're going to stay on it.
Well, and it's true. I mean, I can't tell you how many thousand times I've done that. Somebody comes, and some people that stick to it, it works. Sometimes it doesn't because maybe it wasn't the right diet for them too.
And so what I like to do is get a sampling of the type of foods they like to eat and create the diet around what they will stick to.
Yeah, that's pretty genius.
Well, I don't know if it's genius, but it
All right,
works.
it's
But
pretty
it works.
genius, but it works. All
Yes.
right. So let's talk about the genius moment. You used to be a computer techie guy before the days of computer, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. The days of computer were evolving.
Yes.
When we first started hanging out, it was like 97 or 98 or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe
Maybe 2000 or something like that. It might have been sooner.
it might have been in the late 90s.
And so
yes.
you're in a situation where literally you went from a techie world. You were a Cisco engineer before there was a Cisco engineer.
Actually, at one time, I was the only Cisco certified engineer in all of the Inland Empire.
All the Inland Empire.
Yes.
You literally used to have your own teleport, so to speak, into the internet channel, and you had your own mainframe that was tapped into it, right?
Yes, I did.
That's crazy.
And that got sold to Pac Bell.
Pac Bell, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, you're literally like one of the creators. You also worked, as if I remember, for, was it Ricoh or was it one of the copy companies writing programs for pushing buttons and stuff like that?
No, we did a user interface.
User interface.
Yes.
You're going to have to tell me what user interface means.
So here's this piece of machinery, and it performs these physical tasks. Okay. So now you need to have something on the screen that allows you to control those tasks in a way that's intelligible by a human.
Right.
So you're looking at
Not
it.
F3 or F1 or
Exactly,
something like that.
because
It's
the-
like push A.
So the way this works is this piece of machinery will have a series of registers. Let's say 256 registers. If you select register 1 with register 3, you get a certain function.
Right. It prints a page.
For example, so you need to create an interface that sits on the monitor that says print. And it basically does register.
So you help create the language that goes from the print button to the machine to tell it what to do.
And then set up the screen so that it seems logical to a human.
Right. So you helped us be able to understand how to use a computer. Before that, it used to be Control Alt Delete,
Yeah, you had
Control
to memorize,
P,
you had to
F1. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and nobody knew that.
Yeah, so what we did basically was start to develop what we called a GUI, or a graphical user interface, that logically organized and grouped all the functions so that a human would know where to find things and then just click on it with a mouse.
All right. The reason why I say all that is this. You take that kind of approach that you've had for years with your clients.
I make it very mechanical, yes.
Yes, and that's what I love about it, because when we talk about it, we're always talking in that mainframe, and me and you are thinking in that level, but I always have to remember that you come from the computer thing. All right, so what I want to do is I want to talk about this. I want to talk real quick, a couple little questions and things of that nature. So I want to talk about how you got here. That was just one of the things. I think this is a very interesting story, because I remember when we first started chatting about diet and exercise and things that you've really kind of perfected. I feel like there was a good reason for that. You're stressed out in the industry, the computer industry. And so what happened?
I was in my late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
And it felt like I probably wouldn't live another 10 years.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I remember you telling me.
Yeah.
You used to get off a plane. There was a sign held up with your name. You jumped into a limousine. You went to a hotel.
Well, not a limousine.
Well, a car. Picking you up in a car.
Yeah.
Took you to a hotel. Put you to sleep. The next morning, you got another car, got another plane. You didn't even know what city you were in.
Well, yes, it kind of was like that. Basically, let's say I was working on connectivity between a company that owned, let's say, at the time it would be like 3 campuses.
Right.
Now they don't just, it has all new nomenclature.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm at the main office in, let's say, Carson City, California.
Okay.
And I need to create an interface through a couple of telephone companies. At that time, they didn't have internet.
That's
like
right.
we have now.
Right.
So I had to go
This is pre-internet.
Pre-internet. So I had to figure out how to take a telephone line at high speeds and move
Data.
Register 3 goes across the internet. It goes across, let's say, GTE, and then there's an interface. We used to call it a network-to-network interface,
right?
Where then it's translated to PAC Bell,
right,
language, and then connects and moves the little packet of information to the PAC Bell mechanics, or the PAC Bell interface, and then eventually ends up at the location.
Which could be anywhere.
Yeah, so let's say
go ahead.
So I'll take one company just because I remember where their locations were. We're going from Carson, California, and we're going to connect Carson, Houston, and Watertown, Wisconsin.
All 3 together.
So now, it didn't exist at that time.
That's correct.
If I click something here, it shows up in all 3 locations at the same time.
Simultaneously.
It's what we used to call then instant synchronization.
Instant synchronization.
Which, of course, now it doesn't mean anything because everything's instantly synchronized.
Right, exactly.
Anyway. Yeah.
All right, so you're sitting here, you're working in this techie environment, you're stressed out of your brains.
Yeah,
what happens?
So here's what would happen. System is down and disconnected in Texas. So you fly to Texas.
Right.
They tell you, no problem, we'll get you a hotel, we'll get you a rental, and here's the address where we're going.
Right.
So you'd land in the airport. They'd send a car to pick you up. They'd take you straight to the location. People were waiting for you.
Oh yeah, and they're happy, right?
Oh yeah. But
they're not happy. They're furious,
they're
right?
Pissed because they're down.
Right.
You didn't see your car. You didn't see your hotel, but it's been paid for.
Right. It's there.
So here you are, and you've got a number of, let's say, supervisors,
semi-intelligent individuals,
who are going to explain to you what's not working.
Right.
And you have to very politely and diplomatically say, if you knew what you were doing,
I wouldn't be here.
So then you're there and you discover that the problem is in Watertown, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
So you instantly are put into a new plane, sent to Watertown, but there's no airport in Watertown, so it's about 20 miles away. They pick you up there, and they tell you again you have a hotel and a car.
Right, which you never see.
They drive you all the way to the location, and they say, we need to be up now.
Right. I mean, we're desperate. Our systems are down,
and
right?
they'll tell you things like we're losing X number of money
dollars
per hour or whatever. So
right.
you then figure out
So a very low stress environment.
You know, the controller is usually breathing down your neck, telling you it's costing way too much.
Right, right.
The IT supervisor hates you because you're going to make them look bad once you solve this.
Right.
It's a very hostile environment.
Hostile.
And during all of this, you're supposed to land and just very clearly go, okay, I know what's going on here.
Let me do what I need to do.
And then you're blocking out the yelling and the complaining and the dirty looks.
Yeah.
And then
all simultaneously.
And you're flying to another location and you land there and you go, okay, I've never seen any of this equipment. And you have people talking to you, telling you what's wrong with it, and you know they don't know what they're talking about.
Right,
So you've
right.
got to assess everything.
Right. So what happens? So what happens after years of this?
So cholesterol problems.
Right.
I was in osteopenia.
Osteopenia means you're losing bone. How old are you at this point?
I'm 39, 40.
39 years old and you're losing bone mass.
Yeah, which at that point, I thought that only happened to old ladies.
Right. By the way, I've sent you old ladies that have osteopenia,
You
osteoporosis, and has been able to be reversed by weight training. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah,
What else was going on?
So I had high blood pressure.
High blood pressure.
And the stress levels were causing me to not be able to sleep at all.
Yeah. So wait a minute. You can't sleep. You got high blood pressure. You're losing bone mass. You're 39 years old, and you feel like you're 80.
Pretty much.
And
It feels like you might have another 10 years to live.
Max.
Yes.
And you decide to do a UE.
And so a colleague of mine, one day, we went to an office building, and the elevator happened to be broken.
A systems problem.
So the guy's name was Tim, another Tim.
Right.
So we went up 2 flights of stairs. When we got to the top, he looked at me and he said, God, you've got to get into a gym and do some exercise. And I looked at him and I said, what?
You used to work construction.
Before that.
Right.
Yeah, I'd go, what?
What?
And he said, you shouldn't be breathing that hard. I'm not breathing hard. What makes you think I'm breathing hard?
Right, right.
So that led me to join a gym. And then at the gym, somebody told me about Clark's Nutrition, and I should go there for supplements, right. And I met you.
Right. And from that point, everything dramatically changed.
Changing like crazy, and by the time, let's see, over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years,
yeah.
Somebody said, hey, you look in great shape. You should think about competing.
Right.
And you were one of those.
And then we went on the contest spree, won NPC over, what, 50 was it? Or
I started competing at 50.
Okay, right.
And I made it to the IFBB North American Championships,
right, that's
which
it.
is Mexico, Canada, United States.
Yeah.
And I placed 6th. And
yeah,
that was
from a guy that couldn't climb 2 flights of stairs.
That was across, I think it was 8.5 years or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And since then, I've tried to stay in shape, and the world keeps trying to challenge me.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, I've been hit by cars.
I was going to say, you got hit by a car, knocked like, what, 50 or 60 yards?
Well, the first time I was coming into Riverside,
yeah.
All the traffic stops, and unbelievably, some kid behind me was texting and hit me at full speed.
Full speed.
Full whiplash.
Yeah, I remember that.
That took about 4 years to get over.
Yeah.
And then...
yeah, for a nice peaceful walk at 5 a.m. one day.
Yeah. So right about the time I was going, okay, I think I'm 100% back in shape.
Feeling good.
So I'm going to
go out for a nice peaceful walk.
I'm going to start taking walks in the morning.
That's a good idea. That'll be good for my health, right?
5:30 in the morning. It was still a little dark.
Lady plows you with a car.
Some lady decides to run a red light at full speed
and just whack you about 40 miles an hour and drag you like 50 yards down the road.
Actually, she didn't drag me at all.
Oh, just flipped over the top? It was straight up.
Yeah, so it looked like I was going over her backwards, but I landed about 25 feet that way.
Oh, jeez. So then you go to the hospital, and the hospital basically says, wow, you look amazing.
Actually, that's not what happened.
So,
they radioed ahead that there's a 63-year-old man that's been hit by a hit and run.
right.
And so as soon as I got to the hospital...
Yeah, which hit and run is very critical here.
Yes.
Someone didn't stick around.
So I got to the hospital, and they immediately rushed me in, did x-rays, put me in a room. The doctor came out, grabbed the x-rays, looked at him, and ordered another set because my bone density was too high, and she was sure it was the wrong person.
Right, because you're supposed to have osteopenia.
Yes. Yeah, and so it turns out my bone density at the time probably was somewhere like a 25 to 30-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, but what got broken?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that because my bone density was so high, even though the car hit me, I should have had broken bones everywhere.
Yeah, you should have been shattered.
And there was nothing.
Nothing broken. And as if I remember, you're saying you had your shirt off, and they go, dude, everyone come look at this guy. And everyone's looking at this guy, and your knees completely jacked up, and everyone just overrode that because look at the guy, he looks like Superman, right?
Pretty much the car hit the hip joint on this side, and then hit me below the knee, so it snapped all the ligaments on the inside.
Yeah. So no surgery.
I opted to try to
go around the surgery.
Self
heal.
Self heal. Yes.
All right.
So although my knee is not fully connected, it's fully functional. And I was told that that's not possible.
And it's possible.
And it's possible.
Yeah. And it works.
So now I use this experience added to my previous experiences, and when people come in with botched up knee surgeries and things like that, I get them working again.
All right, so let's talk about some stuff like that. I want to talk about nutrition too. All right. Obviously, passionate about nutrition and everything of that nature. We talk about all sorts of stuff. We talk about Vince Durant egg diets. We talk about this. We talk about that. One of the things I think that happens, and I think this is critical for everyone to understand, is, there's a lot of foods on the face of the earth, right?
There are, and
not everybody is designed for that food.
Yes.
So part of the journey on this is figuring out what foods work best for you.
Interestingly enough, I believe you handed me a course on the intelligence of food of plants.
Right.
And it was an interesting course because that course really made me realize that certain foods in certain regions provide nutrition and keep you healthy,
right?
So that you don't need medical intervention,
right?
And the way I understand it now, from looking at
indigenous is a word,
exactly. So what happens is, you have a tribe that has survived
hundreds of years,
thousands,
right?
Pre-medical intervention,
right?
And they figured out. Let's say you had 5 or 6 different tribes in the region, so you had 5 different or 6 different versions of what to eat,
right?
And the 3 or 4 that got the wrong combination no longer exist.
Right, right.
And the ones that do exist, that food combination was perfect.
Perfect. All right, so let's go to this DNA thing, right? So in this DNA moment, what you're saying is this. Here's this DNA pool, so to speak, where, through the generations, they've got this DNA that basically has learned how to survive with the foods and things that they've got.
Available in their immediate area.
Right.
And they found... So I was starting to say we have, let's say, 5 or 6 different tribes, and each one has gone for a different combination of the foods available. The ones that nailed it stayed healthy because they didn't require any medical intervention. The ones that got eliminated right away would be the ones where the food didn't really supply health.
It didn't give them the health that they needed.
Right. Energy, yes.
Yeah, energy is one thing. Proteins, fats, carbs, one thing. But the micronutrients, vitamins, minerals.
It didn't protect them.
Right. Exactly. So they weren't able to survive.
Exactly.
All right. So let's take this thought. All right. We got to wrap this up. So I'm going to do this. Let's talk about the average person today. Let's come up with 3 things that they can do to make their DNA better and survive and thrive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if I turn to my clients, there's 2 things right off the bat that I tell them. That, number 1, they have to walk. Humans are designed to walk.
Whether you've been hit by a car or not.
I don't care. You need to walk. If you're not walking,
I agree.
Your body is deteriorating at a very high speed, and you probably know more about this than I do, but the intestines have debris.
Yeah.
Constantly accumulating debris.
Right.
And the cleaning doesn't occur.
The lymphatic system, unless you're pumping something.
Until you have at least 7,000 to 10,000 light taps, which is walking.
Yeah.
So that's where those ridiculous numbers that say you have
to
walk
10,000 steps or whatever.
It comes from physiology.
Right.
So
walking's going to be paramount.
That's 1.
All right, let's go 2.
Okay, 2. If I eat something and it causes me a little bit of gas,
right?
That means I couldn't digest it properly. It did not match my DNA.
So wait. So let's say I go to McDonald's and eat a hamburger, and my gut's just ripped up. So you would not recommend going back to McDonald's.
Right, because that sign was that you cannot process that food properly.
By the way, that's kind of how I barometer stuff.
Huh.
So it's like I'll sit there and I'll eat a food, and it's like, you know what? I call it the pregnancy test.
If you bloat a little,
So here's,
obviously
and you know what it
shouldn't be
usually
eating it.
happens for me, bro? Usually what'll happen is this. Is like everyone tells me, like, let's say I go to a trade show. Oh, we got the best vegan protein. I'm always excited about a vegan protein, right?
Sure.
So I'll try it, I'll ingest, and I'll go, well, let's see what happens at 2 in the morning. So I'll wake up 2 in the morning, my stomach's sticking out about 5 or 7 inches, or maybe 10 inches. I got the uni ab, so I have like one big belly, and I look at there and I go, well, that didn't pass the pregnancy test. That's off the list.
Yep. Sometimes you get a little puffiness in your eyes.
Right.
Other times you just can't stop farting.
Yeah, well, geez, I mean, that's not good. All right, so we got one. We're going to move. We're going to walk. Hopefully, not only walk, but lift weights. Number 2, let's get foods that actually agree with our system.
Exactly.
Let's come up with number 3.
That's a good
That's going to be between the two of us here.
Yeah, I think so.
So we got the exercise.
Because I think the third one has to be dealing with stress in one way or another.
Right.
And
I think that's good insight.
Yes, and so that's a hard one because different people
Different stressors.
have different stressors and de-stress differently.
Right.
But you have to have de-stressors. And I think that's why originally, in not that ancient times, in the United States, for example,
Yeah.
2 days off a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
you have
5s and 2s.
or you start getting sick.
Yeah, you do.
And it's not because
So it could be time off from work, better sleep, getting away to have fun,
hobbies,
hobbies, things of that nature,
having good relationships.
good relationships.
One up there is good.
One of is number 1. That's why I start the day reading the Bible every day, right? I mean, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so if you can cover those 3, I think you're a healthier person and you're going to live.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those
I'm
are
not sure that you're
monster
going to live
keys.
any longer, but you'll
But you
have
good
quality of life.
whether
Yes.
you get hit by a car or not.
That's right. Quality of life.
Awesome. Thanks,
I
bro.
like that.
Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Appreciate it. We'll
I
have you
really
again.
like it. Thank
All
you
right.
for asking me.
Yeah, absolutely.